Different circumstances these days, so I'm wondering if we could start just with you giving us your take on this roller coaster ride of opponents. Obviously, Till, then Holland, now Vettori.
Yeah, it started off with Till, and I was super happy with the matchup. Darren Till is a great opponent and a big fan favorite, and I felt like the training was going super well for him. Very, very good specific training. And then he injured himself, and like 4 weeks away from the fight, uh, I was gonna fight Kevin Holland. Started to train for him, and then like 1 week from the fight, he gets COVID, and now I'm fighting Marvin Vettori. And yeah, what can I say? You just need to adapt to the situation and do the best out of it. It's out of my control, but I'm here in Vegas to fight, and yeah, I'm happy with the matchup with Marvin.
With all the cards that we've seen recently impacted by COVID-19 positive tests, not to mention just your usual injuries and everything, in the back of your mind, did you sort of wonder, hey, maybe my fight will be one that's hit? Did you ever kind of wonder if it would wind up like this?
100%. You're thinking about it like, yeah, am I gonna get it? Is my opponent gonna get it? Because it seems like it's happening all the time. So I definitely was thinking about that it could happen. So even though I was surprised, I wasn't that surprised. You have it in the back of your mind.
Now, obviously, you've gone from Till, who's ranked sixth, to Vittori, who is 13th. And it feels like you have a bit more to lose here because of that, because you've gone from fighting a guy closer to you in the rankings to one who's further behind. Does that add any pressure for you?
No, I don't feel the extra pressure, but I feel like, since Kevin Holland was unranked, it was one step up again against Vettori. So I feel pretty good with that, actually. Vettori being a ranked guy. So that's all good. But of course, you always want the biggest names. But this time, it wasn't possible. So, but I still want to fight. So, yeah, I'm comfortable with it. There's always a big amount of pressure in every single fight, and it doesn't feel any different in this one.
All right, and last one for me. I guess on the flip side of that, where do you think a win over Marvin Vettori leaves you here? Because clearly the title's the goal, and you were getting closer.
Yeah, I'm already ranked number 4. I'm already in a sweet spot, in a good position, and I feel like a win over Marvin just solidifies that position. It will just show everybody that I'm right up there. Marvin went the 3 rounds with Adesanya, and if I can finish Marvin, I'll show everybody that I'm ready for that title shot.
All right, best of luck this Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Once again, if you wish to ask a question, please click the hand icon. We'll go next to Augusto Niez-Gay with Somos MMA. Your line is open.
How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Jack, after this crazy couple of weeks with the change of your rivals and all that, how do you manage to keep that smile on your face? Because during this whole week on your social media, on your YouTube channel, and on interviews, you have never stopped smiling, man. So what's your secret?
Yeah, I wasn't born with many talents, but I was born with a big smile, and I think it's very hard to wipe that off from me. It doesn't matter what is gonna happen. You probably will see me smile on the day I'm gonna die.
That sounds great. That sounds great. And Jack, from the three fighters, Till, Holland, and now Vettori, who do you think is or was the best matchup for you?
The best matchup is Darren Till, but he's also the hardest matchup. So the best matchup is always the one that you feel like you have the most to win from. And I believe that Darren Till is the hardest matchup. And Kevin Holland and Marvin Vettori, they have different styles, but I feel like they are equally good. So yeah, Darren Till is the toughest matchup, and then Kevin Holland and Vettori is about the same.
And did you have to make too many changes on your game plan for this fight against Vettori?
Yeah, it is some changes, but on the other hand, I feel like the style that I need to have to beat Vettori comes very natural for me. So it's not something that I need to prepare for a long time. I think my natural fighting style works very well against Vettori.
Awesome. And my last question, What type of fight do you imagine on Saturday, and what are going to be the keys for your victory?
I'm always imagining a quick fight. I see the finish, early in the fight. But at the same time, I'm also preparing for a long, grueling, tough fight. Marvin Vettori has never been finished, but I'm looking forward to be the first one.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jack, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
We'll go next to Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Hey, Jack, can you hear me?
I can hear you good. Thank you.
Jack, every time I think about the circumstances for this fight, I just have to wonder, how the heck did this guy stay focused? I mean, this is just a lot of changes. This is already not ideal with 2020. Just what's the secret? Because not a lot of guys would have said, you know what, let's do it. 3 different opponents, I'm good.
Yeah, I feel like in every single fight, you can prepare as well as you want, but you never know what's going to happen in the fight. And I think knowing that, I just bring the same mindset into a new opponent. I never know what's going to come. Yeah, I don't feel too worried about it. I know who these guys are. I've been seeing their fights, and I'm in good shape. I'm well prepared. So yeah, I just feel so eager to fight right now that it doesn't matter.
Now, I know you obviously from Europe. The last fight was on Fight Island, this one in Las Vegas. Was it easier or harder with the travel for you to get to the United States?
Definitely longer travel here. But on the other hand, the fight is going to be at a more pleasant time. Instead of be fighting in the morning, I'm going to be fighting just in the evening, which feels good. So a longer flight, but better. The time of my fight is better scheduled.
This may sound like an odd question, but do you represent more Norway or Sweden personally?
I've got that question many times, and I feel like I represent both Norway and Sweden equally much. I always say that I grew up in Sweden, and Sweden shaped me to who I am, and I have my family there, and it made me to the person that I am today. But at the same time, my whole MMA career has been out of Norway, so I feel like I really need to represent those guys that gave me the life that I have today.
I asked that question because there's a newcomer to the UFC who also represents Sweden this year, who's done work at middleweight, and that's Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, is there a little bit of, like local rivalry perhaps down the road, do you think, with him to both represent Sweden? What do you think about that down the line?
No, I don't feel any rivalry with Khamzat yet. I feel like he's still climbing, and he's fighting in 2 divisions, and I feel like he's more of a natural welterweight, and I believe that he will, like most of his career is going to be in welterweight. That's really my belief, even though he does a couple of fights in middleweight. So I don't see myself going up against him in the nearest future, but should we meet along the line when it comes down to the title or something like that, I'm up for it, man. But yeah, I don't feel any big rivalry with Khamzat. We have been training together and we have common friends, so we get along well.
My final question, has anyone been able to get you some noise-canceling headphones at the hotel?
The thing was that when we traveled and my headphones were left at home, my coach actually was nice to me. He came to me during the flight, and Jack, here is my headphones. You can borrow them. But I actually turned it down because I want to learn from that. I want it to hurt, so I never will forget them one more time.
Thank you, Jack. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Damon Martin with MMAfighting.com. Your line is open.
Hey, Jack, you talked earlier about your willingness, to kind of take on any opponent the UFC threw at you. And you kind of were in a little bit of a similar situation when you took the fight with Jacare, when he accepted a fight with you, kind of on short notice when he had a different opponent. Do you feel like more fighters should have that kind of willingness? I mean, obviously you're not going to speak for other people, but do you feel like there should be more of a willingness? Because you hear so much these days about, I don't want to fight this guy if he's not ranked ahead of me.
Yeah, it really depends on the situation of the fighter. There's so many different situations, and some fighters they need to get what they deserve as well, and I can't talk for them. And I know that me myself after this fight, I'm not gonna be interested in any fight at all. I want a big fight after this one. So you need to be willing to fight, but I can understand that people are picky sometimes. But let's be honest. When I lost my first opponent here, even people below me in the rankings were turning down the fight with me, and that's a different story.
Well, you almost picked out my next question. When you originally released your statement about Kevin Holland was the only guy willing to face you, I could kind of sense a little bit of frustration that some of the other guys in the rankings wouldn't fight you. Now, obviously, injuries and timing, I understand all that, but was there a little bit of disappointment or frustration that some of those guys, didn't want to take this fight with you, especially with it being a main event, all those kind of things?
Yeah, it was a little bit frustrating at first. But then when I accepted Kevin Holland, you leave that behind and you don't think about it anymore. But then I got a new opponent and he has a number beside his name, so that's all good. So definitely some frustration in the process there when I had to accept Kevin Holland to get the fight.
I know MMA math never really works. You beat one guy, another guy beats another guy, and suddenly you're better than them. But considering the way you were able to go out there and do what you did to Kelvin Gastelum, and now you're facing a guy who went to split decision with the champion Israel Adesanya, is there a little bit of motivation to not necessarily say you have to tap him out in the first round, but if you could finish or put on a really strong showing against Marvin Vettori, do you feel like you are starting to build towards that eventual showdown with Israel, considering you would kind of have taken out a couple of opponents who were really tough for him?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like if I finish Marvin Vettori, I'm going to do something that nobody else has been doing. And I've done it before with people that never was finished. And I feel like I'm going to pull it off this time. And if I do, I definitely feel like I will show everybody that I'm on that next level and I do deserve to fight for the title.
And last one for me, of course, if everything goes well and you win on Saturday, you mentioned you want the big fights. I imagine the Darren Tills, the guys who are right around you in the rankings that would officially earn you a title shot. But what are your thoughts on the middleweight division right now? Because Israel has been a phenomenal champion, but we know everything looks like his next fight is going to be at light heavyweight, which unfortunately kind of puts the middleweight division on hold for 6 months, could be a year, depending on when he actually would fight Jan Blachowicz. Is there any disappointment in that, or you kind of like you wish that the champion would just stay in the division? Like, how do you feel about that? Because ultimately, that can affect your future.
Yeah, I can like it if it turns out to go well. If he will fight Jan in the first half of next year, and then he will defend his middleweight belt in the end of next year. That would be all right. Especially if he wins, then he becomes the undefeated double champ. I would like to fight a guy like that. So I'm hoping he can pull it off and that he will be able to fight in middleweight next year already.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Rodrigo Tenori with AG Fight. Your line is open.
Hi, Jake. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. The UFC changed your opponent 3 times. How did you prepare for this fight against Vettori, especially the mental part of the game?
Yeah, I have known about Vettori for some time, and you are always imagining fighting different guys in the division. So I have imagined myself to fight him before. And I just feel like my style of fighting match up really, really good against Marvin. So it doesn't worry me actually. I just feel super mentally right now, and I feel like I could beat any fighter in the world on Saturday.
Like you, Vettori is a solid fighter. do you prefer keep this fight with him on the feet or on the ground? What do you prefer?
Well, I would prefer to have a mixed fight. You know, I believe that I can hurt him both on the feet and on the ground, and I'm sure you will see both of it.
What did you think about the super fight between Adesanya and Blachowicz? Was it the right time for this fight to happen?
Yeah, you know, it all depends on how it's gonna turn out. If he's gonna lose, you know, and be gone from the division, lose his hype and everything like that, it might have been a bad choice. But if he can pull it off, you know, it's gonna do great things for him. And I would definitely like to fight the double champ.
Yes, thank you, Jake. Good luck on Saturday, man.
Thank you so much.
We'll go next to Cote Cruz with Fordwin Podcast. Your line is open.
Thank you, sir. Jack, how you doing, brother? Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
Well, you previously took a fight on short notice, saving the main event where you beat Jacare in impressive fashion, allowing you to enter the top 10 of the division. Now things are a bit different. Are you still interested in taking fights on short notice? And how does it feel to be in the fourth place in the rankings, a few wins from a title shot?
I can take a short notice fight if it is the right fight, you know. And with that, I mean like right now, a title fight. Should anything, you know, happen, I could step in. But on the other hand, I feel like I'm just around the title fight myself. So the thing is, that it's different when you're working your way up, and we are getting there. Right now, I'm enjoying my spot at the as ranked number 4, and you know, go through the top 5 has been a goal, and now I'm inside of there, and now it's just one more goal, and that's to become the best.
3 of your 4 last victories were wins by submission in the first round. However, your striking is not far behind, and you have the record for most significant strikes in a 5-round middleweight fight against Jack Hermansson. To what aspects of training or experiences do you attribute how complete have you become as a fighter?
I feel like I'm very complete, but you know, there's always gonna be things that you need to work on. But you know, my coach told me yesterday that he really believes that I am on the next level now, and he feels like I'm sharper than I've ever been before, and more precise, and everything is just in tune and in line with the game. And I feel that as well. So I do believe that I am on the next level right now. And you know, to become a great fighter is a process that's not done over a night. You need to always consistently look for progress, and work hard for it. And there's nobody that's working as hard as me.